Okay, go ahead, please. You got
I'm
relatives.
sorry.
Hold on. You open the door here. You got relatives all up and down the Gulf, one end to the other practically. How many of them are sick? How many of them do you know are complaining of symptoms? How many people in general, what percentage would you lay on it, are complaining of symptoms now? Those who live within a couple miles of the shore, or even further, deeper. Well, I'm trying to find out how bad it is.
Or just general symptoms, which a lot of people describe like flu symptoms. Everybody has had that at one time or another, still has it. Getting more serious symptoms, I would say the ones affected the most are family in Biloxi in Louisiana, one not too far from Pensacola. They're the ones that seem the most affected.
Mm-hmm.
And yet everybody really is affected, at least at the minimum, of flu-like symptoms. They're not flu symptoms. That's the first thing everybody agrees. They're not really flu symptoms. They kind of seem like it at first, but as it goes on, everybody has told me the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I realized it wasn't flu, even though it kind of seemed like it. So to me, that's 100% right there.
Yeah.
The flu part. That's the 100% on everybody.
Wow.
Friends and family.
Mm-hmm. It's despicable. Absolutely
yeah,
despicable.
it really is. And like you said, okay, it's not on the news. And that's what most of them are waiting for, is to be told. And,
that's what we have, a
people
society.
just don't want to hear it.
No, we have a society of reactive idiots. They can no longer think. They choose not to think when they have the opportunity, and would rather be told what to think, which is what the media does. It's appalling. You, Michael, and a handful of people are literally holding the line down there, all along the Gulf Coast.
Well, we're trying to get truth out, and when you're dealing with a cover-up, because that's exactly what we're dealing with, it's a complete cover-up of not allowing the real facts and the real truth to come out, and that's the mainstream media, and it's obviously got the blessing from Washington, D.C., because even government agencies just are making no effort at all to tell any of us what's going on. This last article I wrote that you got on your site, which I appreciate that very much, to help get the word out.
Of course.
And you've always been great that way, and I just wanted to add that you are one of the rare ones, believe me, who will go out on a limb to make sure that people can hear the real truth, and that might not, and many times, doesn't agree with the mainstream media, but that's what makes Jeff Rense, and it's appreciated, believe me.
Well, thank you, Mike. It's called journalism, and that's what these other fakes don't do. Never learned, couldn't care less about. But go ahead, please.
Well, I've been criticized on the telephone. I spoke with 4 scientists so far, and they're going like, this article that you wrote about synthetic bacteria and synthetic genomics being used in the Gulf,
mm-hmm.
and they're not attacking me to deny that it's there. In fact, not
mm-hmm.
one of them has denied that the synthetic microorganisms are in the Gulf.
Oh, really?
And not one of them, out of 4. Not one.
All right.
But they go ahead and have gone after me in arguing with me, not about the fact that they're there or not there. They are trying to correct me, 3 of them, trying to correct me to say that BP and Synthetic Genomics Incorporated are really not the ones doing it. That's amazing. So
okay, I get it. Man, I admire you people. You could just throw your hands up and walk. It's an insurmountable obstacle you're up against.
So we've only got one scientist who has even offered to try to help do DNA testing, because I've told them all there's a DNA signature find it.
Not one?
Only one. Only one is
Only
offered.
one. All right. Well, see, we're failing as a society and a culture, and it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse before it gets better, if it gets better at all. Back in just a minute with Michael Edward. Okay. Talking with Michael Edward about the catastrophe in the Gulf, which is going to be with us for God only knows how long, 100 years, 200 years. It's not going away. Except in the eyes of the mainstream media. Everything's fine. Nope. All right, go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, mainstream media says everything's fine. Gulf problem is over, and that's why I'd like to invite them all to come on down and live on the Gulf and go put them out on the beach and let them swim in it, and we'll see if they continue to say that kind of stupidity. So
you saw the picture of the fish, the fish that was cut open, and it was about 1/3 oil on the inside of this poor fish.
I saw that. Yeah, what does anybody expect? And no, that's not in the mainstream media papers. Like I said, that's kind of overshadowed by the full-page, full-color BP ads saying what a great job they're doing cleaning up the environment. You know, yes, I'm being sarcastic simply because you know, you can just take so much of lies and and cover it up. And here every day we're seeing what's really going on, and talk to friends and family, and you just hear more and more, and another little piece of the story, and you see that it's everywhere around the Gulf Coast, and that even comes down in by me in the Southwest Florida. Lots of times we've smelled it, and lots of times I've got a friend right now with a rash all over him, and that's the BP rash.
Right.
No, it's everywhere along the coast. Everywhere.
Well, the story the other day about Pensacola Bay, they went out and took some water samples, and the guy said there was so much oil in the water. I've got it up. You probably read it. He said there was so much oil when he was dunking the samples over the side of the boat, it made him nauseated, and I think he threw up. He said he felt like he was going to throw up. They had to dilute the water 50 times to get it down to where they could get readings that weren't over the top so much that it completely quashed their efforts to run tests and analyses. They couldn't do it. They had to dilute the water 50 times to be able to get normal evaluative readings on the water samples. That's incredible.
It is, and even with you saying it, yes, I did hear that, and I read about it already, but just to hear it again, you would wonder why every honest reporter
should be number one news in every damn Gulf station, certainly in Florida. The water is so foul, they couldn't even go out and take a sample of it and assay it without diluting it 50 times? This is unprecedented.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well,
and that just shows you the magnitude of their efforts to cover it up. Something like that is impossible to ignore once you've read the story. But it's such a magnitude to cover it up. That's why I say it's got to come from the top on the cover-up very strongly. And they're scared of us finding out something. Jeff, it's not just oil. It's not just Corexit and chemicals and such. It's also this bioengineering with bacteria in order to eat this stuff up. There's the third part of the problem.
And the fourth part is natural biorecombination that's occurring in this incredible toxic soup. Now, who's doing the laboratory-created stuff? Do we know? They've been tweaking these bacteria around for some time.
Well, there's lots of independent companies that are commercial, into it for the money, that deal with bioremediation and bioengineering and such.
As far as the staph infections on skin, we saw Kendra and her famous hip lesion, and she had apparently had them all up and down her back of her legs and so forth. How common is that Michael? Have you heard a lot of people getting that? That gets some kind of a contact staph. We have staph and strep on our skin at all times, but not that virulent kind that creates lesions like that. I don't believe it was MRSA. I never saw it referred to as MRSA, but it was certainly ugly and unpleasant. How common is that? Have you heard of many other cases beside those in Mississippi? Or Louisiana,
yes.
I guess it was.
Right, Louisiana, that's where Kendra is from.
Yeah, there were some others,
yes.
though, and anyway, both states perhaps, but whatever.
Yes, a family friend near Biloxi who has been out on a boat the entire time since this started in April. And he's got some real problems. In fact, he's not even on the boat anymore now. As of a couple of weeks ago, he pretty much can't do anything, and he's not getting any results from doctors about it. We've been trying to get some things to him to detoxify, but he also signed an agreement with BP. So very reluctant to openly speak because he's got 3 children. He needs to feed them, and there's another problem that's kind of a bad part about what's going on with all this is there are lots of people along the Gulf who would love to speak up, but if they do, the paycheck's gone. And as soon as they open their mouths, well, they can be sued for everything they've got because they signed contracts with the Vessels Opportunity Program. So, it's a catch-22. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's another factor as to why it's so frustrating in trying to get people to just pay attention and listen to those who live along the Gulf Coast, to just listen to us of what is really going on. We're here, we smell it, we see it, we touch it. You can taste it sometimes in the air, and that's not an exaggeration. You just get that bad taste in your mouth, like you walk by an oil refinery.
It's so over the top. Is anybody doing honest air quality assaying routinely and releasing those results to the public? Any monitoring going on that you're hearing about on a daily basis, which